Let's switch to growth in Brazos County, especially in the ETJ outside of city limits. Obviously, the cities themselves are growing, but that seems to be a really kind of a hot button issue and has been for a number of years. You were actually elected to the policy committee for the Conference of Urban Counties. Is this one way that you're, as a county, trying to look at the growth going on in this community?
Absolutely.
And what does it do?
Okay. You got me. So
That was a
there's
long
so
question.
many issues that I could handle there. I want you to help keep me on track.
All right.
First of all, our population went to 234,000, which means we are an urban county.
Right.
In other words, up until now, we were right on the borderline, but we are a full-fledged urban county now.
Okay.
Secondly, that growth is projected over the next 10 years until we get to the next census to maybe even increase another 60 or 70,000. So
Wow.
we are growing here exponentially. Secondly, TxDOT has planned Interstate 14 to come through Bryan and College Station. And if you can imagine, that brings a tremendous opportunity for growth to have an interstate highway. We're currently the largest community in the United States not served by an interstate highway. You've heard me say that before.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be great. However, there are some unintended consequences that come along with that.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. 14 is the current alignment seems to be it's going to follow 190 through Hearn and then down to Huntsville, down Highway 30. But they're also planning a loop around town. They're going to call it 214. At least at this time, that's how it's designated. And that loop would actually go out to the east side of town, maybe through Curtin. And if we do that, we're going to take some family farms and some houses. There's some houses to be displaced, which is a huge problem for them, an unintended consequence of our growth, if you will. But actually, that Regional Mobility Authority, the RMA, which was created, is the only opportunity that the county gets to have input on the alignment of that thing.
Okay.
So it's extremely important. I will tell you, Charles, I don't love the way that they're talking about financing the RMA. They're actually talking about an additional $10 fee on each one of our vehicle registrations to finance that.
Okay.
I would love to finance that thing by a user tax. So back to your question about being on the policy committee for urban counties, currently the state would not allow us to fund our RMA that way. However, if I'm on that policy committee and interacting with the legislature over time, there's a good chance that we could influence that and possibly get a different funding source for the RMA. So that's important.
Yeah.
The second thing is, just in the last week, it became evident that Brazos County does not have any current ordinances or laws on the books regarding sexually oriented businesses. Well, with an interstate highway coming through here, Charles, again, those unintended consequences, that's going to happen.
What you mean.
So it's important now that we develop some ordinances and some rules, if you will, to restrict, because certainly we don't want those type businesses by our schools or where children would be.
Or your farm.
Absolutely. So it's such a huge question, and I may have gotten off track just a little bit there, but
no, I wanted to. I'm glad you brought up I-14 because it's a great example. How do you? I don't know if you do it through the policy committee we discussed or some other venue, but how do you balance this tremendous growth that it sounds like you're for the most part for, but expecting? How do you balance that with the other issue of trying to maintain a certain amount of family farms, things like that? Is it even possible to do that?
Charles, I think it is possible, and what I'll tell you is I believe most of us that live here recognize that we have a very special living situation here. I mean, we get to be close to the larger cities, and have all of those amenities, but we also still feel like a hometown. This is a place that you want to raise your kids. I think there is a balance that we've got to strike, and a part of that is to have a good master plan for the entire county. Because
is there not one currently?
I don't think we do. We're currently not very good at planning. I'll just give you a quick example. Our needs assessment for our own facilities was last worked on in 2005. So we're 20 years down, almost 20 years down the road. We just purchased a property from Brazos Independent School District
Right.
downtown.
Cool building.
Paid $2.3 million. And I personally believe that just the location, being right by the courthouse, and there not being any other property for sale near the courthouse as the county continues to grow, I think it was a great purchase. However, we don't have any plan whatsoever how we're even going to use that thing. So I think it's important that we do some master planning with our own needs, but also on how we would like to see the county grow and try to push it in that direction.